ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अध्याय 3 मंत्र 21। वेदाहमेतम् अजरं पुराणं सर्वात्मानं सर्वगतं विभुत्वात् जन्मनिरोधं प्रवदन्ति यस्य ब्रह्मवादिनो हि प्रवदन्ति नित्यम्। This mantra is about Vidvad Anubhava. The Shruti cites the direct knowledge of a jnani. So far, the Shruti has revealed the Brahman. There is Brahman. We keep hearing. Then there is a Purva Paksha, an objection against Vedanta. The Brahman that the Shruti reveals, the Brahman that the Upanishads reveal, cannot be known directly. You can just know there is Brahman. According to Upanishad, there is Brahman. So we believe. We can have only such understanding. This is the Purva Paksha. The Purva Pakshi has a basis for his argument. There are two types of knowledges. Jnana. Knowledges are of two types. One is called Paroksha Jnana. Another is called Aparoksha Jnana. Any knowledge can be classified into these two. I am not talking about just Brahmajnana. Any knowledge can be classified into Paroksha Jnana and Aparoksha Jnana. Now, you have not visited a particular country. Or I have not visited a particular country. He has visited the country, Ethiopia. Somebody has visited Ethiopia and then he comes to me and explains about Ethiopia. Ethiopia is like this. Ethiopia is like that. he gave a picture of Ethiopia. Then I get some knowledge about Ethiopia. Otherwise, I didn't even know that there is a country called Ethiopia. America, everyone knows. There is a country called USA. Many people know. But there is a country called Ethiopia. Many of us don't know. So this gentleman went to Ethiopia and came back, and he explained about Ethiopia. Then I got a knowledge of Ethiopia. First of all, I got an understanding there is Ethiopia. And I get some idea also what kind of government is there, what kind of people are there, what kind of language is spoken, what kind of food is eaten, what religion is followed. I get some picture of Ethiopia. And he shows some photo also. See, these are the photos. He has taken some selfies in Ethiopia. Now, the knowledge that I have about Ethiopia, it is a second-hand knowledge. It is called Paroksha Jnana, indirect. I don't have a direct knowledge of Ethiopia, but I have an indirect knowledge. Because at least two people have explained to me about Ethiopia. The two people who generally attend the Vedanta classes. Now they are not there. They have stopped attending. That is why I cannot pinpoint. So, this is called Paroksha Jnana. Then there is Aparoksha Jnana, a direct knowledge. For that person who has visited Ethiopia and lived there for a few days, stayed there for a few days, for him it is Aparoksha Jnana. Aparoksha means a direct, not Paroksha. For him it is Aparoksha Jnana. So there are two types of knowledges, Paroksha Jnana and Aparoksha Jnana. Now we have many pramanas. Pramana means the means of knowledge. The instrument of knowledge is called pramana. In Vedanta, we talk about 6 pramanas: Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, and Shabda. We have 6 pramanas. Pratyaksha means a direct perception. For example, the visual perception, auditory perception. All these are pratyaksha, direct perception. Then there is anumana. Anumana means inference. What is inference? How many people are sitting in this room? One can say without coming inside the room, without even peeping inside the room. How? Just count the pairs of chappals outside. There are 15 pairs of chappals. That means there are 15 people. This is anuman, inference. Based on certain indications, you can arrive at some knowledge. You see clouds and say, oh, there are clouds, it will rain today. Or there are no clouds, it is not going to rain today. All the IMD forecast is based on inference. They don't see any clouds in the vicinity, then they will say there is no rain. So, based on the clouds, based on the wind, they predict weather forecast, all inference. Anumana. Anumana does not mean doubt, not the in the local Anumana. When we discuss the Shastra, Shastra has its own meaning for every word. Then Upamana. Third one is Upamana. Upamana means recognizing something based on similarity. Recognizing something based on similarity. In some other country, Malaysia, etc., there is a fruit called durian. Now, somebody who is traveling to Malaysia or Indonesia or Singapore, so you tell him there is a fruit called durian. It's very interesting fruit, not available here. You should taste that fruit. You tell him. Then this gentleman asks, because he has not seen durian here. He asks you, how can I recognize durian? Then you tell him, it is a fruit which looks like jackfruit. Like jackfruit. It is not jackfruit, but it is like jackfruit. Then this person goes to that country and he searches for durian. Then he finds there is a fruit, it is not jackfruit, but it is like jackfruit. And then he recognizes, yeah, this must be that fruit. That is how he recognizes durian. So you recognize something based on a similarity. It is called Upamana. Recognizing an unknown object based on similarity is called Upamana. This is the third pramana. And fourth pramana is called Arthapatti. Arthapatti is called presumption or postulation. There is no exact equal English word because these are Indian epistemology. All these epistemological terms are purely Indian. This analysis, this kind of analysis of pramana is purely Indian. That is why we don't have exact names in the Western philosophy. The Western philosophy analyzes it in a different way. They don't exactly have these pramanas. So, Arthapatti. Let me explain Arthapatti with an example. There is somebody called Devadatta. And Devadatta is very fat. And every day he is growing fatter. And this fat Devadatta does not eat anything during daytime. He does not eat anything during daytime. Now you have two given informations. What? Devadatta is fat. And the fat Devadatta does not eat anything during the daytime. From this known fact, what can you guess? What can you arrive at? He eats at night. Devadatta eats at night. Why? Because otherwise it is not possible. Devadatta, who is fat and who does not eat anything during daytime, this given information cannot be justified without accepting that he eats at night. So such reasoning is called arthapatti. Arriving at an unknown fact in order to justify a known fact. Because the justification of the known fact is not possible without the unknown fact. Such a logic is called arthapatti. Then anupalabdhi. Fifth one is anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi means a non-apprehension. We can easily understand anupalabdhi if we look into Indian judiciary. There are some lawyers here. They will easily understand what I am trying to say. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence. Absence of evidence is evidence of absence. For example, there is no elephant in this room. There is no elephant in this room. How can you say? Because you don't see an elephant. There is no evidence for the elephant. That is why you can say the elephant is absent. This pramana is very much used in judiciary especially. You don't find any evidence against me, then you have to acquit me. You are innocent. In Vedanta also we make use of anupalabdhi. We arrive at certain conclusion because we don't find any evidence against it. So, already we have discussed the 5 pramanas. I am just simplifying all the 5 pramanas. Each pramana is discussed in several pages. There are many books written on these pramanas, these means of knowledge. And the validity of each pramana is logically discussed to a great, there are so many voluminous books written about these pramanas. The 6th one is called Shabda Pramana. Shabda means words. The words serve as a means of knowledge. It is called Shabda Pramana. For many things, we rely on words. For example, India became independent in 1947. How do we know? Except one or two people. We were not there during independence. Many of us are born after independence. Only he was born before independence. Okay, but you were babies. he was in school at that time. So we don't know. We have not seen. But how do we know for sure that India became independent in 1947? Only Shabda Praman. We were told. And since many sources told us, we accepted. Yeah, it is true. India became independent in 1947. Whether it really became independent or not, there may be some debate. But at least the government changed. British people left. So, for many things we depend on Shabda Praman. So there is a Laukika Shabda. Laukika Shabda means the words that are used in the world. They are called Laukika Shabda. Then there is Vaidika Shabda, the words of the Veda, the words of the Shastra. The words of the Shastra are Pramana, because we cannot know many things with any other five means of knowledge. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi, Shabda, Anupalabdhi. None of these pramanas work in certain domains, especially when it comes to the spiritual understanding, the metaphysical understanding, the metaphysical facts. There is an Ishvara. How do you know the presence of Ishvara? Pratyaksha, Anumana, none of the five pramanas work. How do you know there is a life after death? Pratyaksha, etc. will not work. That is why we have to depend on the sixth pramana, that is the Shabda Pramana. The words of the Veda are Pramana. There is a life after death. There is Ishvara. There is Punya and Papa. All these things we know from the Shastra, from the Shabda. That is why the words of the Veda is an independent means of knowledge. Therefore, now let us come back to the context. We were discussing a Purva Paksha. The Purva Pakshi says, your Brahman, what is the pramana for your Brahman? Shabda Pramana. Pratyaksha, etc. do not show you the Brahman. We cannot see Brahman with our senses. Nirgunatvat. Brahman is nirguna. That is why we cannot see Brahman with the senses. Anumana also does not work. Even logics do not work. We cannot arrive at Brahman through inference, because Brahman does not have a chappal. Here 15 people are sitting, how do you know? You can see chappal. Brahman does not have a chappal. That is why we cannot arrive at Brahman through Anumana. When I said chappal, I meant there is no indication. There is no clear indication which is related to Brahman. See, what is chappal? Chappal is an indication which is related to you. I have seen you with the particular chappal for many days, wearing that chappal, and today I see your chappal there and I can infer you are inside. So, Anumana works, inference works only when you have seen Brahman in relation to something else. But Brahman does not have any relation. Therefore, Anumana will not work in the domain of Brahman. I hope it makes sense. Likewise, Upamana does not work. Why Upamana does not work? Because Brahman has nothing similar. There is nothing similar to Brahman. Brahman is not like a jackfruit. There is no sadrishya for Brahman. That is why Upamana does not work. Similarly, Arthapatti will not work. Anupalabdhi also will not work. Then what remains is only Shabda. Only the words. The words of the Veda are only Pramana. Naveda vinmanute tam brahantam. One who does not accept Veda as Pramana and does not employ the Veda as Pramana will not know Brahman. For him, Brahman is as good as absent. One cannot say, I will use my intellectual speculation and understand Brahman. It does not work. That is why only Shabda is the Pramana. Vedanta reveals Brahman. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Therefore, the Purupakshi says, Shabda is the Pramana for your Brahman. Any fact revealed by Shabda is only Paroksha, according to Purupakshi. Shabda can produce only Paroksha Jnana. Words can produce only Paroksha Jnana, according to Purupakshi. Like the Ethiopia. Somebody described Ethiopia. It cannot produce Aparoksha Jnana. It will not give me a direct knowledge of Ethiopia. It will be indirect. Likewise, any Shabda produces Paroksha Jnana. Therefore, even the Brahman, since it is revealed by the Veda, you can have only Paroksha Jnana of Brahman. That means you can only say there is Brahman. You cannot have a first-hand knowledge of Brahman. You cannot have a direct knowledge of Brahman. This is Purva Paksha. Then we tell the Purva Pakshi, but the Veda says you are Brahman, Tattvamasi. Then Purva Pakshi says, even the Tattvamasi cannot produce Aparoksha Jnana. At the maximum, you may be able to say, according to Vedanta, I am Brahman. According to Vedanta, I am Brahman. The Vedanta says I am Brahman. Still that is Paroksha Jnana. It is not Aparoksha Jnana. So the Purva Pakshi means to say, you can never say, you will never be able to say, Aham Brahmasmi with the absolute conviction, with the absolute clarity. Because you are not going to have Aparoksha Jnana of Brahman. This is Purva Pakshi's contention. Then we tell the Purva Pakshi, it is not so. Because your very law, the Purva Pakshi has made a law. Any knowledge born of Shabda Pramana is Paroksha. Siddhanti says, means we say, it is not correct. There is no such rule that any knowledge born of Shabda is Paroksha. Generally, what is revealed by Shabda is Paroksha. It is true. It is generally true, but it is not always true. When the Veda reveals the Punya and Papa, it is Paroksha. We agree. When the Veda reveals Swarga, it is Paroksha. We agree. But when the same Veda reveals Brahman, it is not Paroksha. Therefore, any knowledge born of Shabda is not always Paroksha. We can give an example to the Purva Pakshi. What is the example? The 10th man example. There were 10 people in a group. They were the Shishyas of a Guru. A Guru had 10 Shishyas. And one of them was the leader. They had to travel somewhere. These 10 people, 10 friends, 10 classmates, they were traveling somewhere. In olden days, there were no many bridges. Nowadays, we have bridges. Earlier, if the river is a bit shallow, they would walk and cross it. Or they may swim and cross it. And sometimes they will cross it by boat. That is how people used to travel in olden days. Because then they did not even have the bridge construction technology. Then they had to cross a river, the 10 people. They were crossing the river. So they crossed the river. After crossing the river, the leader of the 10 students, the leader says, okay, now let us count whether all have crossed or not. We will check. Then he counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 people are there. Where is the 10th one? The 10th one is missing. Then they searched everywhere. Where is the 10th man? They checked in the river. Some people swam in the river here and there to find the 10th man. Some people saw in the nearby trees. Somebody went to the other shore and saw whether he has stayed back there. So they searched everywhere. They are not able to find the 10th man. Then they started crying, lamenting. Then another passerby comes, another wiser man. So he asked them, what happened? Why are you lamenting? Then the leader said, we were 10 people before crossing. After crossing, there are only 9 people. The 10th man is missing. Then this gentleman understood the problem. And he understood the solution also immediately. Then he said, yeah, I will solve your problem. The 10th man is there. Don't worry. Then the leader is asking, who is the 10th man? Who is the 10th man? We are only 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where is the 10th man? Then this gentleman said, you are the 10th man. Dashamas tvamasi. You are the 10th man. Then he realizes, oh, I am the 10th man. The missing one is none other than myself, standing here in flesh and blood. Now, see here, let us analyze this scenario. What produced this jnana? What produced this knowledge? What pramana produced this knowledge? Shabda, words. Words of the wise man. But this Shabda, it has produced an aparoksha jnana, a direct knowledge. The leader has found himself as the 10th man. The leader has discovered himself as the 10th man. Yes, I am the 10th. I missed myself while counting. Therefore, in this case, the Shabda produces aparoksha jnana. Therefore, there is exception to the rule that Shabda produces paroksha jnana. Therefore, the Siddhanti says, your objection is not correct. Just because Brahman is known by means of words does not mean we have to know Brahman as paroksha, as somebody sitting in the seventh heaven, somewhere remote. It is not so. Even the Shabda, even the Vedanta Vakya produces aparoksha jnana. It is called Shabda Paroksha Jnana. We accept Shabda Parokshatva of Brahman. Brahman can be known through Shabda Pramana, and the knowledge of Brahman is Aparoksha. Aparokshatma Vijnanam Shabdam Deshika Purvakam Samsara Karana Jnana Tamasas Chandabhaskaraha. Some of you may recognize. Yeah. Panchadashi, Prakarana 1. Therefore, in order to show that the Shabda can produce Aparoksha Jnana, Brahma Jnana is an Aparoksha Jnana, Vedanta leads to Aparoksha Jnana. In order to show this, the Shruti itself cites the knowledge of a Brahmajnani, the direct knowledge of a Brahmajnani. Therefore, a Brahmajnani says, Vedahametam, I know this Brahman. A Brahmajnani declares with the confidence, with the conviction, I know the Brahman. What kind of Brahman? Ajaram, he does not have old age. Navidyate jara yasya saha ajaraha. One who does not have jara, old age, is called ajara. Brahman does not have old age. Does it mean he has youth? Brahman is free from all avasthas. See, when we say devatas are ajara, even devatas can be called ajara. Nirjaraha is another synonym of devatas. When we say devatas are ajara, they don't have old age. That means they don't have consult gerontologist. Geriatric, what is it called? Geriatric specialists are there. So, in Baptist, you will find the geriatric specialist. Baptist and other hospitals also. So, devatas are ajara, means they don't have to go to geriatrics. Why? Because they are always youth. The devata sharira is always youthful. But that does not mean they don't have any avasthas. The devatas have at least one avastha. Yuvavastha they have. But when we refer to Brahman as ajara, it is different. When we say Brahman is ajara, Brahman does not have yuvavastha also. So ajaraha means free from all avasthas. Sarvavastha vivarjitaha. He is free from all stages of life. Only the sharira has avastha. The sharira has stages of life. The Brahman has no stage of life. Now Brahman is child. After some years, Brahman will become youth. Free from modifications. Since Brahman is free from modifications, there is no avastha. Varna ashrama vayovastha vivarjitam Brahma. Brahman does not have varna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Varnas are not there. Ashramas are not there. Sannyasi, Grihastha. Vayaha, age, no age. and no avastha, kaumara, balya, kaumara, yauvana, jara, free from all avasthas. The Rishi, the Brahmajnani says, I have discovered the Brahman who is free from all avasthas. Puranam. Pura api nava iti Purana. He is ever old and ever new. Brahman is ever old and ever new. Why ever old? What is called old? If something existed before this point of time, much before this point of time, it existed, then you call it old. So Brahman existed ever before this point of time. Therefore, it is always old. Ever old. You take any reference point in time. Brahman existed before that. Therefore, Brahman is ever old. Any point of time, Brahman is old. So, always old. At the same time, always new, nava, always new. What is new? If it has not lost its value, if it has not degenerated, then you call it new. Brahman never degenerates. Therefore, ever new. Therefore, always old and always new. So, always old, always new means Brahman transcends the time. Kala atita. Sarvatmanam. Sarvasya atma. Atma of everyone. Everybody's Atma. Sarvagatam vibhutvat. Vibhutvat sarvagatam. Brahman is vibhu. Vividham bhavati iti vibhuhu. The Brahman himself has become everything. All names and forms. Being the upadana karana, being the material cause of everything. The same Brahman appears in the form of everything. Therefore, he is all pervasive, sarvagatam. Vibhutvat sarvagatam. Janma nirodham pravadanti yasya. Shankarananda is a commentator on this text, Svetaswatara Upanishad. So Shankarananda, not Shankaracharya. Shankarananda is another Acharya. He is Vidyaranya's Guru. Vidyaranya's Guru is Shankarananda. That is why Vidyaranya prays to Shankarananda as his Guru. Namashi Shankarananda Gurupadambu Janmane. So Shankarananda Swami has written a commentary on Svetaswatara Upanishad. So he says, Mudhaha yasya janma nirodham pravadanti. The Mudhaha, the ignorant ones, attribute janma nirodha, Janma means birth. Nirodha means death. The ignorant ones think that the Atma is subject to birth and death. The body has birth and death. The Atma does not have birth and death. But the ignorant ones attribute the birth of the body to the Atma. And they attribute the death of the body also to the Atma. Therefore, Mudha, the ignorant ones, attribute the birth and death of the body to the Atma. Brahmavadino hi pravadanti nityam. But the Brahmavadis, the Brahmajnanis, those who understand Brahman, they know Brahman is Nitya. Nityam pravadanti. They explain the Brahman as a Nitya, eternal, free from birth and free from death. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.